Hey, what's up, Liron here. I want to address an issue that I see is asked a lot about, and I think this is an issue especially in the watercolor world, where people are scared their mistakes are permanent, basically. And I want to show you how nothing really is ever lost, nothing is really permanent. So let's say I would like to paint. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you a demo of the technique or how I do this, and then I'm going to show you an actual painting demo, a little more complete of an actual subject. So let's say I would like to paint an apple. Okay, so I go ahead and I get started, and whoops, this is actually the disgusting leftovers that I had from a previous painting process. What do I do? What do I do? I messed it up, right? Even the shape is kind of wonky and weird. Here's what I'm going to do. If you look at my palette here, I have my red. So this would be a Pyrrole Scarlet. Look at what happens if I simply bring over some Pyrrole Scarlet. Okay, I pushed it in the direction I want it to be, but take a look at this. Okay, it still looks kind of gray and lame and crappy. Let's add water. Let's add water here. Right, just tons of water. And just to show you how much water there is here, if I move this, look at the flow, right? There's flow. I can do whatever I want with what I have right now. Whatever I want. So first off, I can add even more water and help move the paint even more. Now I'm going to lift back some of the paint that is undesired, and I'm going to come back with the red I actually want. Okay, maybe I want this to be red but also yellow. Let's come back with some lemon yellow here now, because the lemon yellow is so strong and actually a little opaque. It's going to overpower the whole thing and start making it look really nice, right? So I'm just going to go over this and slowly push it in the direction I want. Let's say I want to add a shadow to it. I'm just going to grab whatever leftovers I have here, add this bit of cast shadow to this apple or whatever it is. But maybe this is an eggplant. I don't like this. So let's pour in more water over this entire thing, and let's turn it into an eggplant. Why? I don't know. I wanted this to be an eggplant to begin with. So let's turn it into an eggplant, just like so. In fact, let's add a bit of a greenish stamp to it. There are so many types of eggplants. I'm not painting any specific one in particular, just making sure the video runs smoothly. Good, we're good. And now I'm going to start adding shadows to this lovely eggplant that I've created. So, and then it's too much shadow on the left. Let me bring back some water. Oops, there's some disgusting dirt. And then I'm going to bring in some water here. Maybe lift a bit so this section's a little lighter. I'm using the paper towel to dry my brush, to come back with a little water. And then we're going to add some cast shadow. I'm going to mix a gray with both my purple, violet, and my yellow, and then maybe there's a bit of a yellow reflected light there on the right side. Let's get a bit of that in. And we have an eggplant. We started with a weird blob, then we moved into an apple. Now we have an eggplant. That is the process of watercolor painting. This is how it's done. It is not whatever you put, you're stuck with it forever, you're doomed. You get it right the first time or you're gonna fail. Get it right. You better not make any mistakes in the shape, in the color, in the value. You better not. It looks the best when it's freshest, right? If you cover it in multiple glazes, you're gonna mess up. No. If you don't get the cynicism, none of that is true. None of that is true. You can start with one thing, end up with a completely different thing. You can start with a yellow. You're like, nah, I don't like it. Let's put in blue. I want this to be blue. Oops, I'm gonna get a green now. What should I do with this green that I don't like? I wanted a blue. I don't know, let's bring in some water. Let's kind of give ourselves more time, make this lighter. Worst case, dab. Sometimes these things have to be shown for people to understand. And then I'm going to grab my turquoise, whatever lovely color this is, and I'm just going to go over this whole thing, just like so. Make it blue. Oops, I want it to be more phthalo blue. Let's make it more phthalo blue, right? It's still too green. Let's add a bit of red to neutralize said green. Make it into a gray. Let's add a bit more blue, right? I really hate that. Let's make it into a burnt sienna kind of color. Don't want this blue whatsoever. let's go ahead, turn this into a burnt sienna. This is Daniel Smith's burnt sienna, admittedly. Not the best, it's more like a umber sienna kind of color. That is way too gray, but wait, if I overpower this enough, look at what we get here. It just is going to be okay. Let's add a little bit of a chimney here and some lovely details. Maybe a bird perched up here on this roof. Maybe the entire building is in the shadow, this side. Whatever this is we just made up. Then we have some windows here to the side. Mainly the shadow is on the left. Maybe it's a tall building, maybe it's a short building, maybe there's another building behind it. Doesn't matter, whatever you invent, you make up, will work. The thing is, when you're so busy about getting it right and getting it perfect the first time, you miss the entire point of watercolor. Watercolor is always breathing, it's always moving, it's always changing. If you're gonna try and follow the puck with a delay of a couple of seconds, you'll never make the most out of your skills and your abilities. You'll never be able to access your existing techniques and skills. This isn't about mastering a technique. It is about better understanding yourself, what you want to create, what you want to paint. So now let's go and get to the actual demo of this. I want to show you this in a full kind of scene, if you will. Now I'm going to sketch it out real quick. This is the dirty, disgusting piece of paper. Let's go ahead like this. I want to show you how not important and of low significance this is. So we have the stem here of this fig, right? And that goes down here. And then we have this lovely slice. It goes something like this. We do see a bit of this side of it. There's a plate around this whole thing. There's a cast shadow here, a cast shadow there. We have another lovely slice here. Another fig here. A link to the reference photo below. And I'm going to follow the exact same thing I've shown you. So I need some kind of a, let's say, I don't know, looks green to me. So let's start with a green here. So I'm starting with this green. And then at some point, I'm like, oops, it should be warmer. It actually should be a little red even. So I'm going to grab a bit of the red leftovers I have over the palette. You can see it. Let me move this a bit. You can see it here, red leftovers. And go ahead and adjust. I'm going to adjust this thing right here. And then we have this lovely little, I don't know, whatever this is. Goes up. And I don't know, that looks more like it. Now, let's soften the edge up. And let's soften everything. I'm going to show you how I soften everything up in advance. I just, for now, will come back with a bit of water, kind of help the paint move in that direction. That looks good. Maybe there's a bit of a very thin texture here, like so. I'm pushing it to the direction I want. Now, how do I soften? I just grab my water sprayer and I go ahead, spray the entire thing. I like to keep it fresh. And then, okay, so we have this side here. I'm going to use the black color I have on my other palette, but it is pretty much the same concept. And ooh, there's a shadow there. Let's not let anything dry. We're just going to place in that shadow. And because there's a big difference in value there, it's just going to work out. They're not going to seep in too much and blend in too much. It's actually going to look really, really good. Now here we're going into a bit of a warmer, lighter shadow. So I'm picking up leftovers of warmth and casting this lovely shadow on the side of the plate. And let's say I made a mistake and I stretch out this shadow all the way here, but oops, here it should be cooler. How shall I fix this? I'll just grab a bunch of ultramarine and go over it. Make it cooler, push it in the direction I want. Sloppy technique, not a problem, still works. Then we have this lip of the plate, another warm shadow right around here. Now if this is starting to light up too light, you go ahead, bring back some strength to it if you want. I'm going to mix in a couple of colors here and let's see if I can just ever so slightly strengthen that kind of a brown in the middle I'm using whatever, you know, if you ask me what colors I'm going to be using, I don't even have an answer for that because I'm using everything I have here pretty much. And then we have this lovely slice that is a little more, let's say, on the green side for the base. So that would be it. So I'm going to put in this green here all around. Now it gets a little lighter on the inside. So I'm just coming back with some clean water. See, I'm adding some water there. Middle. The middle is kind of a red crimson-y. But the texture is the thing, right? So if I put in this texture I'm seeing, and even not too dark, I'm just going to place in this texture because it catches the light so well. I'm going to get the illusion. Already there's the illusion of light. Now if this isn't the right color, go ahead, grab more red. You can adjust real time. Here I am adjusting in real time. People think, you know, I got it wrong the first time. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of the game. No, you're not. I'm going to start here. This should be a little more orange. So let me add a bit of my yellow and start with a bit of a, I would say, lighter touch here. Something like that. Now, as we move down, this is going to become much richer and darker of a red. We'll probably add a bit of the carbazole violet to it so that I keep it warm in the shadows. And then this goes around my first fig. And let's grab this same rich color while we have it. Add this shadow right here. Add a bit of that same texture feel to this area. There we go. Now we have that fig from behind the slice. Let's put that in. I'll start light. So go ahead, light. But I'm going to leave this gap for the around the slice thing. This goes here. This is in the shadow. Let's soften up the entire left edge. I'm just going to bring in some water. Like so. Softer, lighter. Let's mix that same kind of neutral greenish color from earlier. Start setting up the darker shadow. I'm going to add just the black color here. See, this should be much, much darker, and I didn't do it the first time, so not a problem. I'm going to go over it. There's a cast shadow here. It's pretty sharp. There's a bit of a shadow on the table. What is that? That's a bit of a warm, kind of neutral shadow. So I think something like this could work for the in-betweens. We got a fig here. We got another fig. We have another one up here. I'm not going to even, you know, there's not much else to do. I just want to show you. Maybe I want to make this cooler. I don't know. It's in the peripheries of the painting. Let's add a bit of blue there. Let's add a bit of red to neutralize even more. See? Nothing is ever lost. Now, even once it dries, you have a lot of mechanisms at play. That's maybe a topic for a different video. But even after it dries, there's a lot you can do to keep making changes and keep making improvements. Now, sometimes you miss out on the lights. Maybe the lights should be a little more, you know, not paper white, and that is fine. So you go ahead and you add them in. If you feel like there should be some kind of a color there, not a problem. You add those in-betweens. You add those in-betweens. You add those in-betweens here and even here. You see? The impression is starting to be created. Let's grab a bit of that orange. There's a texture on the plate, so there we go. Texturing it out. Then we have blue lines. Texturing it out. Then we have this subtle thin line there. You keep going, you get a nice little sense of light and shadow. Maybe you want just the entire frame of the painting to be dark. So you come back with more of a muted black color here all around the sides, just to close in on the light source. Let me show you. Maybe this will mess it up, but I'm fine with that. I'm willing to make this sacrifice, but there we go. Maybe make it even cooler on this side. See? That'll make these slices even more meaningful because of how light they are. Boom, you got a nice sense of light, impromptu, alla prima. Quick painting. It looks good. There are some shadows under the plate that are even darker than the shadow on the side of the plate, but you get my point. Hopefully that makes sense. See, I don't know if you can see this, but there is a beautiful sense of light here. If I just bring in more green here to hint, there's another fig behind this one. It's a mess, but look at how I'm editing while I'm working. This is something anyone can do. Let loose. You won't get it right the first time because there is no right or wrong. There's just whatever you paint. So you just go ahead and paint according to your vision. I'm going to let this dry. I'll show you the final scan while I'm talking, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who supports me over on Patreon. You make it possible for me to post tons of content for everyone to learn from. Plus, if you want to learn how to let go, enjoy the watercolor process, paint like this, be sure to check out the frustration-free watercolor course. That's the first thing I would check out. Now, if you feel like you're at a good spot, you're starting to be more advanced, check out the Watercolor Realism course. Links to everything below. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again real soon. Take care.